Hey everyone, it's Schmuckles. Today we're going to talk about new news for every major license that's hyped for Dead by Daylight. There's a lot of new rumors and things going around, and we're going to cover everything in this video. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content like this. A lot of this information comes from the King's interview with Matthew Cote, so a big shout out and a big thanks to the King for actually doing this interview. I'm going to leave a link to the full interview in the description below, as well as a link to the King's Twitch. By the way, Group E of the most hyped licenses tourney is now live. You can vote for that in the polls in the community tab of my YouTube channel. All of the cosmetics were revealed for the Haunted by Daylight event, none of which included a vampire version of Sable. And we need to remember a set of leaks that came from the user named Poison. They said Sable will have a vampire skin in Halloween. All of the October Halloween skins have been revealed, and this was the only skin that Sable got. And this is not a vampire skin. So that means Poison's leaks have been fully debunked. His biggest alleged leak is the FNAF survivor as an OG Michael Afton. And there's not really any credibility to that. And remember, there still is the original source that said the bounty hunter dog lady is the December killer in Dead by Daylight. The Grudge was heavily implied for the March license, and there were emote teasers for Hannibal Lecter, none of which came from Poison to my knowledge. So apparently the Grudge and Hannibal are still possible for the upcoming licenses, though some people in the leaking community are actually having their doubts. People are no longer sure if the Grudge is going to be the March license paragraph chapter, and there's even some gremlin theories going around right now. But first, let's see what Matthew Cote actually said about the Five Nights at Freddy's chapter.
Been a lot of speculation in the community over whether or not this Five Nights at Freddy's collaboration next summer is merely going to be a set of cosmetics skins for existing characters, or would it be its own chapter with unique characters?
What do you think, Polly?
I think it's a chapter.
What do you think, King?
I agree. I think it could almost be a disservice to the fans if it was just cosmetics and announcing it so early. I think 100% it's a full chapter. I don't know if there's going to be a map. I don't know how those things work, because sometimes we don't get those maps, but I think there's quite a lot of upside, so it'd be a full chapter.
A lot of people, myself included, actually think that this probably means it's going to be a full chapter for the anniversary for Five Nights at Freddy's. Cote didn't explicitly say that, but he kind of indirectly hinted towards it.
If you were to make an announcement this early, it's probably going to be a full chapter.
Well, thank you both very much for answering this difficult question. I could possibly answer for you.
The King also mentioned this on his Twitch stream as well.
We asked him if it's going to be a full chapter or is it going to be cosmetics. He was like, what do you guys think? And he kind of gave us the look like, yeah, it's going to be a full chapter.
Matthew Cote also talked about the March license paragraph killer as well. And this is what he said about that.
Killers that can be more versatile and have different ways to play is... No, but the next one is... It's not that. But it's really gonna be. Hopefully, it's gonna impress, because I mean, like, some people are gonna bitch, like, as usual, but it's gonna create some really interesting conversation, for sure.
He said people are probably still going to bitch about this chapter, which happens no matter what. To me, that kind of eliminates a super big license for the chapter. He also said it's not going to be like a power toggling killer. Based off of his response, people are thinking it's possible that the Grudge is not the March license, and people are thinking that it's one of three possible options. These are three possible reasons why people might bitch about the chapter. It's Kayako, and people already confuse her for Sadako, and she looks very similar to her. It's a sequel chapter to an IP that most people will be confused by. It's a non-horror IP and a wild card at that. One thing that's really confusing to me is I was wondering, why would Matthew Cote say anything about the March license if the Grudge leaks are actually real? Like, if there's any validity to the Grudge rumors and behaviors actively trying to find out where the leaks are coming from, Matthew Cote would not say anything that could be interpreted as a leak. When the D&D Vecna leaks happened, I noticed that Matthew Cote and his wife were big D&D fans and also Castlevania fans, and I questioned if that added any validity to the leaks that were coming out. Matthew Cote responded in the comment section of those videos and said, hey, I'm not leaking anything, I just like D&D, I like Castlevania, we've been fans for a long time. Which means that Matthew Cote did not want to be anywhere near those leaks with a 10-foot pole. So it just makes you wonder the fact that Matthew Cote is willing to say anything about March. Does that potentially mean that there's no existing leaks for the March license out right now? The King even said, before the interview, I thought 1000% Jason for March. Now I've swapped gears and my guess is Megan. In the start, he started by saying when working with others, you can both help each other. And at the end, he says he has great relation with Blumhouse, Megan, Purge, and Sidious. I don't think people would bitch about Jason or anything super iconic coming into the game. And seeing how he spoke about Blumhouse, I think it has to be something with them. So this is actually what he said about Blumhouse.
They keep in touch with you? Is it like you signed off and go do it, or they give you regular updates? Or
we are in very close contact with the host Blumhouse.
Matthew Cote also said some other things that could potentially hint towards him collaborating with other big license holders too. When the king asked him about the March license, Cote didn't really know which license he was talking about.
How excited are you personally for this chapter to come into the game?
Which one are you talking
walking
about
around?
now?
We're talking about the one in March. This one, March of 2025, and it is a standalone. It is a killer by itself.
Oh yeah.
No
okay.
map,
Not
no
coming
survivor.
Cote was kind of confused, likely because he's in talks with so many different license holders right now. During the Haunted by Daylight livestream, Behavior talked about how previous relationships can help them actually attain other IPs from the same license holder.
With that being said, we've been really lucky to develop a great relationship with Konami over the years, and they really opened the door for us to delve into their past games and touch base on some of those amazing elements from those actual games.
Just in general, when Behavior brings in skins for existing IPs that are already in the game, I consider that to be a brand new collaboration with the license holder, and that probably means they're on good terms with those license holders. And take a look what Behavior actually is bringing in for the Haunted by Daylight event.
This year, we're doing a handful of new outfits, including the Blighted Pig that has serum absolutely oozing out of her pores. And another addition we've got is the Blighted Good Guy, and you can really see where the blight has sort of transformed him and added extra arms and legs that are now grafted to his torso.
So we have a new collaboration with Lionsgate Entertainment and the Saw franchise, as well as a new skin with Chucky, which is Universal Studios. And these skins, which were actually previously leaked via a Disney breach, are now confirmed coming into the game.
Wanted to explore a never-before-seen xenomorph design, so we challenged our artists to see what they could come up with, and we're super happy with the final results. For Ripley, we have the new pressure suit outfit that was heavily inspired by the iconic spacesuit from the original Alien film. And we're really hoping that fans of the franchise will get a kick out of it.
So we have brand new collaborations with Lionsgate Entertainment, Universal Pictures, and Disney. It's really interesting because we saw Billy the Puppet on the recent survey, which would be a Part 2 Saw chapter, and now Fortnite actually brought Billy the Puppet in as part of their Halloween event over there. They brought in both Leatherface and Billy the Puppet to Fortnite. Billy the Puppet is something that really does fit as a theory for the March license. People would potentially bitch about a Part 2 chapter. In fact, when the official Dead by Daylight Twitter was posting about the Saw franchise because of the release of the new Saw movie, we mistook that for new killer teasers and thought a Saw Part 2 chapter was coming into the game. And there are a lot of people actually complaining that this wasn't as exciting, and maybe Matthew Cote has seen that. So Billy the Puppet actually checks that box of people bitching about it. It also makes sense because it would start discussions of Part 2 chapters in DBD. I'm not saying Billy the Puppet is the front runner necessarily, I'm just saying it sort of fits with all the pieces that we have right now. Universal Pictures owns a wide variety of IPs that would actually work in Dead by Daylight, from the Universal monsters to The Thing, and even possibly Jurassic Park could be added to Dead by Daylight someday. And then another thing I wanted to focus on too is this idea of Predator joining Dead by Daylight 2, because 20th Century Studios owns both Alien and Predator, but people aren't so sure how soon Predator would come to Dead by Daylight, because on September 30th of this year, they actually revived the Predator Hunting Grounds game. I'm pretty sure they brought in this brand new skin into the game as well. It's time to hunt, the wait is over. Predator Hunting Grounds is now out on Xbox Series, PS5, and PC with upgraded visuals, polished content, and improved audio, new content, and more. So people are wondering, this idea of them reviving the Predator Hunting Grounds game, would that actually hurt its chances of being an upcoming IP in Dead by Daylight? I thought it was really interesting that the Dark Lord True Form Mori was revealed, and the Dark Lord actually rips out the spine of a survivor. This is a Mori that I think would be pretty similar to a Predator Mori, actually. Predator is known for ripping out the spines of his victims, so it's interesting that Dead by Daylight decided to include this with the Dark Lord True Form Mori. If Predator was somehow the March license, they would now be at risk of people comparing the Moris and saying that they're too similar. It is worth noting that the official Aliens vs Predator Galaxy actually tweeted about the collaboration with Dead by Daylight. Just the fact that this Alien vs Predator Twitter account is acknowledging the new skins in Dead by Daylight, and we haven't seen any Predator skins for Alien or anything like that, it does seem like Predator could be possible in the future for DBD. For example, we haven't seen a Predalien skin on Xenomorph, making me think that Behavior wants to keep the two IPs totally separate, possibly to bring in Predator as a brand new standalone killer. Those are the kinds of things Behavior are going to be considering behind the scenes. And in the interview, Matthew Cote talked about how the relationships with license holders that they've worked with really does matter.
It's all very, it gets really complex in a good way, because it means that if you talk to, I don't know, Universal, right? They might have needs of a game, and at the same time they have a license, and then there's a lot of different things we can do with the same people. And so you build those relationships over now almost a decade.
So could that hint towards Predator actually being the March license killer paragraph? Or could it be something more niche, such as Art the Clown? Art the Clown was recently added to Warzone as a part of their Halloween event. The creator of Art the Clown, Damian Leon, actually tweeted about this and said, so cool. And here he actually quote tweeted a big COD streamer, and this streamer sort of showcased Art the Clown being loaded into Warzone at the beginning of a Warzone game. Gojira actually tweeted at Damian and said, we need him in Dead by Daylight next. He deserves his place next to the greats like Freddy, Michael, Chucky, Ghostface, and Leatherface. He'd fit right in. Gojira may or may not know some information about the December original full chapter that's coming into Dead by Daylight. I'm not really sure. You know what I know in this situation. Gojira does like to joke around, but Gojira did say this on Twitter. Hey guys, I'm really excited about this new chapter. Gojira also tweeted this out as well. A DBD character artist accidentally posted this online. The link is still up, but it is the character model for March's killer. Remember how Matthew Cote said it was out of the box and people would be upset? It's because it's this. Remember, Teletubbies was on the survey. And then he posted a screenshot of a Teletubby model. And I was like, dude, I'm gonna find this on Sketchfab in 2 seconds. So I did some research just to see where this came from. And actually, Gojira is right. This is actually uploaded to artstation.com by a character artist that actually works on Dead by Daylight. This model is something that they posted online on the website artstation.com. There's various angles of this Teletubby model posted by this DBD character artist. And I kind of just checked out the profile. The majority of the content on ArtStation from this DBD character artist is stuff from Dead by Daylight. All of it is labeled to have come from Dead by Daylight, except for the Teletubbies model. I will say that I checked this out a few days after Gojira posted this. And if this was true and this was the March license killer, there is no way this would actually still be up on this person's profile. Like, they would have seen that, they would have been in talks with Behavior's legal team, and they probably would have had that taken down immediately after Gojira posted this. So the fact I was able to see it a few days after probably means that this isn't the March license. I also saw on October 4th of this year, the official A Quiet Place Twitter tweeted out about a new game. They uploaded a teaser video teasing the creature from A Quiet Place in their brand new video game. So it just shows that those license holders are pretty active in the video game space. When talking about Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th franchise, I didn't actually include this in a previous video, so I wanted to just document this right here. There's another pair of eyes that the Jason universe used to sort of tease Jason's arrival into Dead by Daylight. Someone said, Mr. Voorhees, I want to let you know that Freddy, Michael, Leatherface, Ghostface, and Chucky are waiting for you in Dead by Daylight. Don't keep your friends waiting. And then Matthew Cote also said this in a recent interview with The King about the Friday the 13th franchise.
Yes, I understand the situation, and I understand why you would think that it would be more likely now. Yeah.
Seems more likely.
Yeah, you're correct.
There's also news regarding Slenderman, and technically not Slenderman, but the operator from Marble Hornets. This is a character that's very similar and probably inspired by Slenderman, but is actually technically a separate license. This information was brought to my attention by Shameplicity and Slenderman Whisperer from my Discord server, so a big shout out and a big thanks to them for this information. Shameplicity was in the Marble Hornets Discord server and said, hi friends, I just wanted to share my Marble Hornets Dead by Daylight chapter concept thumbnail. This is not welcome to be used by anyone else, but just wanted to share. It's based off the visual format of current Dead by Daylight DLC chapter trailer thumbnails. And Troy, the creator of Marble Hornets, actually responded and said, love your DBD take. Shameplicity said, thank you so much. I really appreciate it so much. I've been hoping for Slender / the operator in DBD for literally years. Troy responded and said, DBD is pretty much the only multiplayer game that I play any regularity. So I'm happy to see something I actually understand. Shameplicity said, no way, that's crazy. Have you ever considered Marble Hornets joining DBD somehow? Troy said, I should find a way to get in touch with the devs somehow. Shameplicity said, I believe there's an email, Behavior Interactive. If you'd like, I'd be happy to even find it for you. I can't tell you how happy I'd be with Marble Hornets and DBD. Troy said, yeah, I'd definitely be down for it. Shameplicity then links Troy Behavior's business inquiry email. As someone who's been a big Marble Hornets fan for years and has been playing DBD for almost 6 years, I can't tell you how happy even the idea of Slender or operator of joining DBD makes me. Thank you so much for the response, and I hope they can respond to you. And Troy said, me too, thanks for the email. So this is actually breaking news. Troy, the creator of Marble Hornets and the owner of the operator license that's heavily inspired from Slenderman, has reached out to Behavior to bring the operator into Dead by Daylight. So we need to make a timestamp of this video if we want to actually speculate when that could actually happen, if it's going to happen. Also, there's a recent Q&A, and Red Barrels, the devs behind the video game Outlast, were asked this question. Would Red Barrels ever consider collaborating with Behavior Interactive to get their own Outlast chapter in Dead by Daylight? And one of the creators of Outlast said, we would love to collaborate with Behavior on DBD. It seems like a natural partnership, like peanut butter and jelly. We've reached out a few times, the ball is in their court. So the fact that the Red Barrel devs are admitting here that they've reached out to Behavior and it's kind of in Behavior's court, chapter really makes me think that Behavior's licensed IP roadmap is very full right now. Also, a lot of potential licensed-only survivor paragraphs that could come into DBD. Killer Clowns from Outer Space actually added 2 icons of horror. With Elvira and Tommy Savini on humanity's side, these clown invaders are going to need more than just cotton candy. So they actually added these licensed characters into Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which is obviously a much smaller game than Dead by Daylight. So is it possible we would see these characters added to DBD in the future? Also, according to Variety, Ghostface will kill again. Scream 7, the latest entry in the long-running horror franchise, will finally hit theaters on February 27, 2026 after enduring production delays, creative overhauls, and cast shakeups. And as we know, Neve Campbell is returning as Sidney Prescott in this new movie, and she had this to say about Scream 7.
And now you've got the 7th Scream in the works.
Can you believe it?
7.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe. What can you tell us?
Nothing.
But we see it right there. We see a picture of the cover.
Yeah, it's I'm really excited. I'm really excited about it.
Now, would they time the release of Sidney Prescott in Dead by Daylight with this new Scream movie? Behavior doesn't really have a track record of working with Paramount Pictures in Dead by Daylight, but Matthew Cote did talk about timing releases of licensed characters with giant releases of movies and TV shows.
What is currently on top of your mind, as a company, what it is that you're looking for in the next year that maybe we'll be able to help with? Maybe we can do some sort of a joint event because you have a new movie coming out or whatever, right?
And with that, that's kind of the perfect transition into talking about Vecna from Stranger Things and the possibility of Vecna joining Dead by Daylight. Would they time the release of a Part 2 Stranger Things chapter with the release of Season 5 of Stranger Things? Stranger Things, what we know about the final season. And what we're really after here is the release of Season 5 of Stranger Things. The final season of Stranger Things was originally set to begin production in the summer of 2023, but the dual writers and actor strikes delayed production. The Duffer Brothers closed down the show writers' room on May 6th. This was at the start of the WGA strike. On January 8th, 2024, Netflix announced that the final season had officially gone into production, and by September 2024, production was past the halfway point. So prior to all of the strikes, Stranger Things Season 5 was expected to premiere sometime in early 2025, and this was according to the star Finn Wolfhard, who plays Mike. The actor strike likely prolonged the restart, and now people are speculating that the release of Season 5 of Stranger Things could be pushed back to later in 2025 or even early 2026. So that potentially could be the timeline of when a Stranger Things Part 2 chapter would join DBD. I also saw this really interesting tweet about Robert Englund. Robert Englund spoke to Bloody Disgusting about 40 years of Freddy Krueger and whether or not he'd play Freddy again. And this made me wonder if this guy is done with the character. Could we ever get this skin as Freddy Krueger in DBD with his likeness? Robert Englund said, "There's no Freddy left in me. I could possibly voice a really high-end animated version. That would be nice to be asked to do. But I know I can't do the fight scenes more than one take now, one angle. I just can't be snapping my head or anything like that. I'm an old dog, give me a break." And he is 77 years old, but it's interesting here that he said he'd be willing to voice Freddy Krueger. Like, I think the time is now to reach out to this guy and try and work something out with Wes Craven's estate to bring in this version of Freddy Krueger into DBD. Maybe they could time it with the Freddy Krueger rework. It's not 100% clear how they'd handle the situation. Personally, I was under the impression that Behavior created the legendary skin in Dead by Daylight as a pathway to bring in this version of Freddy as a skin on the existing version of Freddy. However, Matthew Cote also said if different IPs come from different license holders, there's no way in hell they'd actually just be a skin for one another. It was also discovered alongside this recent update, legendary skins are having the correct names of being selected, and they have officially begun implementing legendary portraits as well. Do we think that this could somehow be related to the arrival of Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger in Dead by Daylight? I don't really know. It is interesting to note though. New Line Cinema owns the version of Freddy that's currently in the game, and Wes Craven's estate would own the original version of Freddy. But maybe New Line Cinema owns a later version of Freddy that could be portrayed by Robert Englund. That would probably be a special case where Robert Englund could just be a skin for the existing Freddy, as long as it's the same license holder. And speaking of New Line Cinema, this is the only collaboration that Behavior's ever had in DBD with Warner Bros. And as we know, New Line Cinema is potentially a pathway to getting a version of Pennywise into DBD. During the interview with The King, Cote was just talking about hypothetical avenues to connecting with license holders. And he did say this.
Okay, I want to reach this person. Where do I start? And you start to scrub, I don't know, LinkedIn, and you look at,
figure out, connect the dots.
He made a post on Twitter thanking his agent for years of work, and that guy works at, but back then he was working there with, this other guy that I talked to, he's at Warner. Okay, let me reach out, right? And that's the sort of thing that you have to get up to for the first contact in many situations.
And just the fact that he mentioned Warner Bros. As the connection in this hypothetical situation really made me think about Pennywise and how Pennywise is the main IP from Warner Bros. That Behavior would want in this game. Anyways, that's all the information that I have for you today. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel if you want news videos like this recommended to you by YouTube. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about all of this. That does it for this video. Goodbye.